Good morning, my name is Jason Caine and I'm new to the Bayside family. I will actually be the campus pastor at Bayside campus that's coming soon down in Elk Grove. You'll get more details later, but I can't wait to connect with many of you as I'm brand new to this community, came all the way from Atlanta with my family, and we're excited to be at Bayside. This morning, I just want to encourage you to keep going. All right, whatever it is you've been doing that you know God has called you to do, I want you to keep going. In the Old Testament, many of us are familiar with a guy by the name of Moses. Moses is called by God to go and tell Pharaoh to let God's people go and release them into freedom. God comes to Moses when Moses is minding his business, doing his own thing, and Moses says, you know what, God, I'm going to follow you because I trust you. Moses goes to Pharaoh. He does exactly what God tells him to do. He says, Pharaoh, let my people go. And what happens? Things get worse. Sometimes when you follow God, things get worse before they get better. And I know if you're anything like me, that can be frustrating, it can be difficult, and it can be hard when there's a gap between what God tells you to do and what you expect is going to happen. Moses went, he told Pharaoh to let his people go, and I'm sure that he expected that Pharaoh was going to immediately let his people go, but that's not what happened at all. And maybe you're in that same position that God has called you and told you to do something, yet you're not getting what you expect. You've committed yourself to a life of purity because you're single, yet you still can't find that spouse that you want. Maybe financially, you've been giving and giving and giving, yet you're still having a hard time. Maybe you're trusting God with your marriage in this season and things have gotten worse. What do you do when there's a gap between what God has told you to do, what you expect, and what you actually get? Here's what God told Moses after Moses went to Pharaoh. Moses goes back to God and says, God, look, I did what you told me to do, but I'm not getting the results that I expected. This is what God says to Moses in Exodus chapter 6, verse 1. It says, but the Lord said to Moses, now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh. This was really an opportunity for Moses to see God in a brand new way. God says to him, now you will see. The failure and disappointment that Moses had experienced the first time after he went to Pharaoh was really an opportunity for him to really and truly see who God was, to see God's character, to witness God's power, and that's true for all of us. So you've been doing things in faith. You've been trusting God in ways that you've never trusted him before, not getting the results you expected, but that is really an opportunity for you to see God in a fresh and new way. Your disappointment is really a setup for God to show you who he is. Although things haven't come through for you yet, keep on going, keep on doing what God has called you to do. And then you will see with fresh eyes how powerful, how mighty, and how gracious God is. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great morning.